Hello everyone, my name is Ethan and today I'll be presenting my Neil Armstrong research. This won't cover every detail of what happened in this particular history of what happened to Neil Armstrong, but we will be covering all the highlights and all the main points of what happened to Armstrong. So I hope you have fun listening. And let's begin. Neil Armstrong was born on August 5th, 1930. His family was composed of his mother, Viola Armstrong, his father, Stephen Armstrong, and his siblings, June Armstrong and Dean Armstrong. He was the eldest of the three, and incredibly intelligent and brilliant. He always wished and dreamed for flying airplanes when he grew up. In 1936, he took his first airplane flight. It was terrific and fun. In 1955, he married Janet Sheeran. However, Neil and Jan were divorced in 1994, so Neil decided to marry Carol Held Knight. He had 3 children, Karen Armstrong, Mark Armstrong, and Eric Armstrong. Born in 1957, Eric was the eldest of the 3 children. Karen was born 1959 and died 1962 because of pneumonia. Mark was the youngest, in which was born 1963. Education. Armstrong went to Gates Elementary, and in 1947, he graduated from Bloom High School and went to Purdue University to study engineering. Although Armstrong died in 2012, he is still remembered by one quote, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Here is a timeline for the indication of Neil Armstrong's life. If you'd like, please take a photo, snap a screenshot, or pause the video if you don't get to gather the information in time. On August 5th, 1930, Armstrong was born. This dates back to around 90 years ago. On July 26, 1936, he experienced his very first airplane ride. This is essential to the timeline because he dreamed about flying afterwards. On November 1950, he flew his very first plane, a warplane in fact, at age 20 during the Korean War. Another interesting fact was that the planes were at the U.S. Essex. On March 16th, 1966, Armstrong commanded the Gemini spacecraft in space, and on July 20th, 1969, Armstrong commanded Apollo 11. He was the very first person to walk on the moon. He retired and left NASA in 1971, and sadly, he died due to his suffering when a cardiac tear was when a wire was placed on the heart during a cardiac bypass surgery. This occurred on around August 25th, 2012. Neil Armstrong is perhaps best known for his stroll on the moon in 1969. He was very brave because the moon was extremely cold and nearly impossible to live on. He proved that the impossible could be done due to several factors that incorporate imperfections and mistakes for correction. He was also very hardworking because he commanded Apollo 11, which is a major role and a very important job. Lasting impact. Today, the worldwide can understand that braveness and courage can change and shape the future generations and impossible can believe to be switched to possible. He also taught that anyone, even children, can make a difference. Since he was only 20 years old when he flew the Panther jet in the Korean War. It was dangerous, but Armstrong didn't give up. Leadership traits. Hardworking. Armstrong is hardworking for many reasons. Firstly, he got his pilot's license before he got his driver's license. That proves that he was diligent because he worked hard to fly to become a pilot. He was also hardworking because he commanded most of the spacecraft missions. This was tiring, but he was still determined to accomplish the goals. Brave, lion-hearted. Neil was proven brave due to his adventure to the moon 50 years ago. The moon was icy cold, but he still kept his braveness and determination in his heart. Inspiring. Armstrong was inspiring because of his brave and hardworking traits that support him. He inspired others to be brave and to think positively about the impossible, risky risks to take, which impacted the Earth in many ways. Here are 10 facts about Neil Armstrong. Number 1. Armstrong got his pilot's license before he got his driver's license. Number 2. He loved to build model planes when he was young. Number 3. He flew a Panther jet during the Korean War. He was 20 years old. He flew his first warplane before his first airplane. Number 4. Neil Armstrong retired in 1971 at an age of around 40 years old. Number 5. The Panther jet Armstrong flew at the Korean War was hit and destroyed by gunfire of the Korean Army. He had to parachute 500 miles above ground and across a booby trap that blocked the direct path of touching ground. Number 6. Karen, the daughter of Armstrong, got a nickname Muffle. Neil spent lots of time with Karen since she was a happy child. Sadly, she died at an age of about 2.5 years old. Neil was very sad and disappointed that happened. Number 7. The Armstrongs moved to Texas near the Houston Space Center. One night, the house was hot, not just because the air conditioning was broken. The house was on fire. Luckily, Mr. White, the neighbor, got his hose and extinguished the fire. No one was hurt, but the house needed to be rebuilt. Number 8. Armstrong was the first person to ever walk on the moon. He spent less than 2.5 hours before returning back home. Number 9. Armstrong named the module that helped them venture to the moon Eagle. Number 10. The world named 11 Apollo astronauts that were famous. They all agreed that Neil Armstrong was the most famous of them all. Sources and citations. Special thanks to the Who Was, What Was, and Where Is books, Google, and Wikipedia for sponsoring this video. This is the end of my Neil Armstrong research. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. As always, thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you soon.